All right, it's a very beautiful morning, and the jingles, of course, the bells are jingling all across the world. It's Christmas Day. But coming up in a moment will be the newspaper review. Please stay with us.
All right, let's now take a look at what the papers are saying, and I have, for starters, the Daily Trust. And just below the nameplate, how two Kanu lawmakers died same day. You find details of that on page 6. NLC to Nigerians, reject distorted tax law. It's on page 40. 41 properties worth 2.8 billion naira traced to Malami. That's according to the EFCC, and you get details on page 6. But the major story here reads, 5 killed, 35 injured in Borno mosque bombing. And the picture story, bold picture stories here, tell the story of people shopping for Christmas and New Year in Lagos, Nasarawa, and Abuja just yesterday. Below that, Christmas, worship centers on security watch. And finally, from the Daily Trust, Yuletide, cheap food, low patronage on page 46. ASU FG finalized renegotiated 2009 agreement on page 45. That's refreshing, by the way. And visa ban threatens Nigeria-US passengers traffic. Details of that on page 29, Claire.
Okay, there's also, I have blueprint, and the blueprint says on its front page, I'm committed to religious freedom, protection of all faiths, and that's the Christmas message coming from President Tinubu at this hour. It has 3 riders. Says we must collaborate to prevent conflicts, promote peace. Khan on its own urges vigilance, police, tighten security. Details of those stories are on pages 9, 14, and 15. And governors, first ladies, lawmakers, others distribute food items across the country. And of course, other stories, tragedy hitting Kano Assembly is already taken by Victor. NUPRC under Komalafe, not den of corruption. That's ICPC report. I see opportunities, not hurdles. So, there are also other stories there. Oil prices increase over heightened U.S.-Venezuela tension. That story is on page 4. And as FG goes paperless, analog ministers need training. As federal government goes paperless, analog ministers need training. And tax reforms will protect the poor, target beneficiaries. Sanwo-Olu. Troops foil Benue kidnap attempt, rescue 24 passengers. And of course, that story on bomb explosion in Borno, killing people and injuring many others. Local government autonomy. Tinubu needs no EO to enforce Supreme Court judgment. Falana. That's executive order. Tinubu says, President Tinubu says, Tinubu needs no executive order to enforce Supreme Court judgment. Falana. Details of that on page 10. All right. And Ghana arrests 48 suspected Nigerian cyber criminals in 9th raid. That's, of course, just a little above the nameplate there. All right. So,
this looks like, I don't want to call it a Black Christmas, but just the bombing on the eve of Christmas wouldn't be what many, if not all, wished for.
I look at it this way. It's quite unfortunate. The papers are reporting 5 people, killed and many others injured. I think that, you see, this was what we were discussing yesterday. Preparation, how, our security agencies prepare for, periods or seasons like this. And this has happened. So it obviously shows that, lack in some areas.
Of
or
course.
or maybe would you
Loopholes
say
have been exploited
exactly
by criminals,
exactly
and terrorists.
so I think this should serve as a wake-up call within this period, and even going further into the new year.
To rejig rethink their plans and re-strategize.
Precisely. So everybody, just as Khan is urging all Nigerians, security is a collective duty. The force PRO said that yesterday. So everyone must be
If you
vigilant.
see something, say something.
Say something. So be vigilant. There's also, other, story, troops foil Benue kidnap attempt, rescue 24 passengers. That's at least something, to be happy about. Yes.
And then in spite of that, people are still shopping, as the picture story on the front page of the Daily Trust details.
Yes.
There are people still shopping in Abuja, Nasarawa, of course, for examples, because I want to believe that everywhere across the country, life, moves on, and people are basking in the euphoria of the Yuletide.
But I like us to look at, the president's message, and this is very, significant. The president, of course, there's really no doubt about the president's, position about protection of all faiths. But I think this is just to emphasize, yes, that is committed to religious freedom and protection of all faiths. But it's also said we must all collaborate to prevent conflict and promote peace. And this season is actually the season, if you haven't before, this period calls for promotion of peace. So I think it's very emphatic. There's also People's Daily newspaper here, which is also carrying almost all the same stories that we have talked about. Yes.
But I'm happy. I'm particularly happy to read that ASU and the FG have finalized a renegotiated 2009 agreement.
Victor, don't be too hasty.
Well, at least to read that they have finalized, there seems to be a renegotiation, because that agreement has dogged the university education in Nigeria for so long and across administrations. So if this administration is able to pull off a renegotiation, that means ASU is bending backwards a bit, and then you can, work out something and make progress.
Okay. Victor, I guess we have to leave the newspaper review. Chukwudi Okoli-Igboaja, who is supposed to be the newspaper whistleblower, has decided to review jollof rice on his plates this morning. So Chukwudi, wherever you are, we wish you Merry Christmas to you and your family and a prosperous New Year. But let's get to Lagos. Our correspondent Joel Kpukwola is at the scene of the fire incident. Joel?
Martin Street.
Yes, Martin Street. And Martin Street usually is a very busy commercial area. Yeah. Yes, commercial area in Lagos. It borders Balogun and all the places where you go for your bend down boutique. Joel, what's happening? What can you tell us about the incident?
Well, as at now, I can tell you that the raging inferno which has been on for the past 10 hours is still on. The entire building, the Great Nigerian Insurance House building, has been completely engulfed by fire. And like you can see from this visual, the fire is still on. And it has even spread to other adjoining buildings. This other building here that has so many shops and businesses has also been engulfed by fire. The emergency responders are still struggling, battling after more than 10 hours to completely put out the fire. And everybody right now is living in trepidation. All the business owners are worried. All the residents and those in adjoining streets are worried. They are wondering when this fire will be completely put out. More than 10 hours, you can see the fire is still raging. And the adjoining building also, the fire has also affected it. Emergency responders are struggling to contain the situation. The residents and business owners are confused. They are counting their losses, and the losses indeed keep mounting as at this time.
Joel, I'm wondering, what is the challenge with putting out the fire? Because I just see behind you, like you said, Inferno is raging, but I don't see anyone particularly confronting it as we speak. So what could be the shortcoming?
The shortcoming, I would say, is shortage of facilities. An inferno of this magnitude requires advanced technology, advanced equipment. Just beside me here, just where I'm standing, the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service men are here trying to put out the fire. But what the facility they have here cannot really effectively combat the fire.
Amazing. This is surprising, given all the technology and development going on in Lagos. The fire behind you. Please be careful. The fire behind you looks like those videos of hell that you find on social media. Indeed, it is raging. So please be careful, because you are very close to the fire. So why did it take? Why did it get to this level? Is it that the response was slow, or call didn't get to help didn't come on time? What was the reason for this extent of damage?
The buildings here is a warehouse that has several inflammable materials. So when the fire started on the 4th floor, it spread rapidly to the 6th floor. And as soon as the fire comes in contact with any inflammable material, it spirals out of control. And I must tell you that the response was not really immediate, but at least it came early enough. But the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service could not contain the situation all alone. LASEMA, the Federal Fire Service, even the Nigerian Port Authority Fire Service, and so many even private emergency responders really came in to salvage the situation. Another major challenge that they encountered, like you said earlier, is it is not easy to assess this area, and you know that the crowd will always mill around in this situation, making it extremely difficult for emergency responders to get access to the scene of the incident. And that, in a way, escalated the situation.
One more from me. What do you think in terms of equipment that, if we had on ground, would have made a difference?
In situations like this, you will expect high-tech equipment, including use of helicopter. This is a high-rise building of about 22-story building. If we can have helicopter or a crane that will be on ground to aid and fast-track the situation, I believe by now we will not be here reporting live that the fire is still raging.
Correct, Joel. Fortunately, we've not heard you say there's been lots of life, just property. Has there been any word from the state government or from anywhere?
Yes, the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, they are still trying to contain the situation. In their latest preliminary report, they did report that there were some casualties, but they cannot ascertain the number of casualties. But the casualties are in terms of injuries. No death has been reported for now. And the injury was as a result of those who were trying to salvage their wares. They were caught while in the process, and when the fire kept on escalating to other floors. But many of them quickly scampered for safety, but some were trapped, but they escaped with bonds.
All right, Joel, thank you. Please be safe, because that fire, it's raging, and hopefully we'll join you much later in the news to give us an update. Thank you, Joel.
Thank you, Claire.
And Victor. All right. Of course, that's Joel Popola giving us update on the fire incident at Martin Street in Lagos. And Victor, I think we're done with the newspaper review.
We'll just take a break. And when we return, we begin our conversation on the spirituality of Christmas. Please don't go away.